On mute. We're live. All right. Gosh darn it. Keep looking down at these things. And some moron has sent me a text message. Oh, who is this buffoon? I'm looking, gosh darn it. I'm looking down right now.
You are listening to an episode of Transparency and Merit. That's Brian, and I'm Joe, or JP. I guess I go by JP.
Yes. Brian and Joe, JP.
On what planet does Angela have 409, half a million listeners? Get out of here. Show us the evidence of that, or go away.
Anyway, I'm just thinking how anger is often self-righteous anger. And yeah, and I could be a self-righteous jackass just as anybody else. And one of the things that I'd like to do with the show is, have due process and debate. And if somebody believes themselves to be right, come with it and see if it stands up to its booty bootstraps. I mean, I do believe in what I say, but I think it's well thought out. At least I think it's kind of well thought out. Maybe it's not as well thought out as I'd like it to be, but yeah.
What are you trying to say, man?
I'm trying to say that maybe it's a self-working on myself. Like, I don't want to be as arrogant as I perceive so many other people to be. I see a lot of people out there.
This is your world. You can be as arrogant as you want in your world. Why does that matter?
Because I see what arrogant people, how they affect me. And I don't want to affect other people.
In your world? I'm talking about your world. I'm not talking about their world. I'm talking about in the privacy and in the domain that you've created here. What's wrong with showing your self-worth? What's the problem there? I'm not talking about when you go to the bank and you're an asshole to the teller. I'm saying when you're in here and you're explaining your business, why does that matter? Why would you put that cap on what you could show?
Why would I put that cap on? I guess to a point. And this isn't, I guess, Stoic, but I have concern for myself, how I come across. And, to a degree, I do want to come across as a thoughtful person. Even though sometimes I come off as callous and joking around, there is a part of me that wants to come across as a thoughtful and somewhat insightful person with some insightful ideas. That may not always be the case, but that's when I do my show. That's kind of the way I would like to be. I would like to come across, and I would like to just share open opinions on my ideas and stuff like that. I just recognize right now that I'm smacking my lips, and it's annoying me. So I'm going to take a drink of water. Joey, if you have anything to add, I'm going to just take a drink of water. I'm going to put myself on mute. We may go silent for a bit, or Joey may say a few things.
Have a drink and put yourself on a ventilator, because you are huffing and you are puffing and you're blowing no house down. You're saying the most insane thing. You are worried about how you come across. You come across as you. No matter what face you try to put on in front of you, you are what people will see. So I have not heard a good enough reason for you to escape from who it is you are, and what it is you're about, and how it is you convey an idea or a thought. I don't know how you reconcile that with putting on some sort of vestment over that, so other people view you as in a certain way. It doesn't make any sense. It's not transparency, and it's not merit.
I'm trying to think. I'm just now. Someone said just called you gross, JP. And
Sent from Commander Gross herself.
yes. And Master of Ropes says Brian just wants to put on a mask for the people. Is Rope wrong, or is he correct?
I think he's maybe echoing what I just told you.
You don't think it's intelligent sometimes to put on a mask?
Never. As Shakespeare said, God gave you one face and you choose to create a second.
So when you put on a mask, you're two-faced.
Well, there's a lot of ways to do it, right? There are a lot of ways to do it, but here you are explaining it, and I think you could do it in a more now. Yeah, this is constructive criticism, by the way. You can take it any way you want, but um, you know, you and how you act instinctually to things might get tapered, and so your ideas are going to get you're going to self-censor yourself until you're not saying anything at all.
Well, like I said, I believe that you can say hard truths for the most part, and most people will understand them. But I think that if you take the time and aren't angry when you say it, it's going to come across better. Because at times there are hard truths and there are hard realities out there that perhaps need to be looked at. And certainly there are problems, whether they're interpersonal or they're are there. I guess you could say, social problems that affect the world. As right now we're living under a pandemic, and we're living under riots. I'm blacker than Tupac. Well, that that remains to be seen. I think Tupac has been dead for almost 20 years now, close to 20 years. And Political Woodstock says Dawning needs to focus on better things. And I think, I have fallen myself down the ethnic rabbit hole to a degree. But I've always believed that, there has been multiculturalism with the things that were invented and the things that we use within this world. And but it was real multiculturalism. We borrowed things. For example, I guess paper comes from China. They invented it, and Europe brought that back, and they used it. Before the Europeans came, the Indians didn't know what a horse was, and once they saw it, they just went out and rode. And it was not this fake kind of kumbaya nonsense, because that leads to nothing. I don't know if I'm making any goddamn sense, because right now I'm getting these texts from somebody who's kind of a bothersome in my life, and he just started sending them now.
On your phone?
Yeah, and he's acting a bit. Okay, Political Woodstock, they did not have horses. Now I'm going to invite anyone else who wants to go up and show up. Might make this a little bit of a longer show, but the indigenous people did not have horses. That is, where does she get that? I'm putting her on right now. Political Woodstock, you need to explain yourself. The Native Americans did not have horses, and I can hear myself in the background.
Are you sure they did not have horses?
They did not know. They did not have horses. That's not true.
Are you sure?
The Indians did not have horses. The so-called Native Americans did not have horses.
You seem rather upset about that.
I'm kind of upset because I believe it to be a falsehood to a degree. And I mean, there are other falsehoods that are out there in history where people want to use history basically to guilt, more prosperous so-called ethnic groups to siphon off benefits for themselves. It's kind of nonsense. I don't think anybody owes anybody anything. Those things happened long before you or I came down. I'm a human. You're a human. And, treat me as that way. My race primarily matters when someone makes that an issue. And when they make it an issue, well, I might not say anything, but if I do say anything, if you're going to take off the gloves, so am I. And I'll take off the gloves and I'll give you some brutal honesty, or the way I see it. And I reserve the right to do that.
Are you still receiving text messages?
Yes, I am. I have a person that I know who is bipolar, and they're going through a manic phase. And we know who this person is, and it's just...
What are you doing to contribute to that mess?
There's nothing I can do, basically.
Well, no, I'm asking you, what have you done to help to fuel this fire, if anything? Have you stayed away, or have you contributed?
Well, I've talked to the person. I recently stopped talking to the person. Now I'm talking to them. And, they've done some things where part of me wishes I hadn't gone back to talking to them.
Because I've been getting calls that go directly to my spam. They get blocked on my phone, but I've been getting them from Crazy Doug. So it may be maybe that time of year. Maybe it's the nature of things. It's a lot of unrest. There's a lot of stress. There's certainly a push for the whole mental illness thing. It's been one excuse after the next for people to kind of let down their guards. Hey, I've been guilty of that myself. I'm not just saying that about people around me. Um, yeah, it's definitely time to be at least alert and aware of what's going on around you. I guess we all learn that in different ways, though. So what's going on here in the chat room? You see anything interesting?
Yeah, we got the people who don't necessarily like donning armor, and
Yes, there is.
I don't know why so many people have such a problem with him. It's kind of a knee-jerk reaction.
I wonder if the original donning armor is here, listening to this mess.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Howard was good, and JP's show this morning made donning into a goof. I don't know if we set out to do that. I mean, Howard's goal is to do that to almost anybody, and but I think Donning held his own, and we're all kind of taking shots at each other. I don't think anybody was getting teamed up on. If that was the implication here, I don't think it is.
Well, I think that Howard is very specific, and I think one of the things Howard likes to do is flex his intellect. But Howard is not very good. I don't think Howard's good at things like conflict resolution. I think he's, on average, very poor at that. He has intelligence, but the intelligence is not often used for good. And there are people that get caught up in beliefs and stuff, and sometimes I think it becomes like a religious faith for them. And so, there is logic and reason to it, but if you dig deeper, I mean, it doesn't necessarily help your life out. Being open to new experiences. I mean, there is being open to reality, which High Ridge Estates, Scott is not necessarily, I think, very open to. He lives in his own little dream world himself. And sometimes I do as well. Reality is hard, and you get stuck on your beliefs, and you believe yourself to be, right. And I've done that quite a few times. Most of the anger that I've had, particularly in the past, has been really self-righteous anger. And if I had it to do over again, I would have not conducted myself in that way. And he's asking about my hat. I only have one of these. I might get another one. I don't know. But I only have one of these at this type of hat. But I do have a few hats that I put on. You know. And someone said about Howard and Beasley, which That's kind of silly.
All right. Enough silliness. You wanted to make this a short show, but you're talking about self-righteousness and stoic calm. I do believe.
Yes.
Do you think you covered that?
You know what? I'm going to go a little bit more on just.
Yeah, there's a lot more to cover.
Well, again, my self righteousness has hurt me in more ways than one, and we're seeing a lot of political movements right now where self righteousness, where there are a lot of people out there that feel a lot of self righteousness, and I don't think you can really get to any truth with self righteousness.
Sorry, you said you don't think you can get where with self-righteousness?
I don't think you. Well, I don't think you can gain any connection. I think you'll have a trouble, and I think you'll gain trouble gaining connection for the most part if you are always self-righteous.
Okay. I would understand what you're saying there if you were self-righteous, but or at least considered yourself self-righteous, but only kind of like part-time. That would present more problems because, like you said, people sometimes put on a different mask when they do certain things. So if that's the case, then it could somebody who's self-righteous also put on a different face and still be self-righteous.
I'll tell you something. It's kind of like being a drug addict. You know, sometimes you're not always a drug addict, but when you're back on the wagon, you know, like I do have anger issues, and I try to control those. But there are times when I think about something that really pisses me off, and I get caught up in my anger, and that is a weakness of mine.
Mm.
And that's something that I would like to have less of, and I just have to remember, those times when I was angry and pissed off, how I felt afterwards. But sometimes when I'm caught up in the moment, I don't think of those things. Donning armor is.
Well, if I could just make one more point to what you're saying is that if your defense against feeling angry, for example, is based on your memory of how you've reacted in the past. Do you understand that that's not necessarily a tool for improvement? So in other words, if you do fall into you get angry, right? You get upset at somebody, for you to go back and remember how you've been in the past may not be as effective as what should you be doing when somebody makes you upset. I certainly wouldn't list going back into your memory bank and trying to remember how you were in a matter. Instead, it'd probably be more effective to recall or implement a tool that you can learn that really helps you in a situation like that. You get upset, your first instinct should be breathe, right? Because we have physiological changes. Or if I'm being addressed a certain way that upsets me, to make sure to, your first instinct should be to answer that, or not answer it. You choose one way or another, right? You got to make a decision. Howard doesn't always answer questions that, maybe offend or infiltrate kind of his normal thinking. So a lot of times he'll default to not answering and changing the subject. What's going on, Donning Armor?
Hey guys, I hope you're both doing well. I believe JP, I owe you a apology, and So here it is. I do apologize. That show turned out to be a bit of a train wreck. I was a bit tipsy at the time, and yeah, I don't think that I came out on the better end of it. And I would still like to have a conversation with you about race realism. Um, but I I have a
Well,
hard time. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm yeah, no, I never really felt that way. In fact, Brian and I were going over this before the show, and we had pretty good numbers, and yeah, I had a good time. If I had a criticism, it would have been that you did leave yourself open a couple times to it, and I made a couple jabs that I mean I thought they were funny, but whatever. So I thought it was a good show all around. So I don't necessarily need an apology, but thanks.
Oh yeah. Well, I just felt that at certain times I didn't conduct myself in an appropriate manner. What I will say is uh, this is what I was talking about, spiteful mutants, which is it doesn't come from me, but spiteful mutants is a phrase that comes from another YouTuber, excuse me, named Dr. Edward Dutton. Um, and essentially it's you get caught up in how do I put it? You get caught up and sucked in almost. So if somebody's a troll and they behave like a troll, or they're just an angry it's the same thing with trolling as it is with anger or any of these other things. It kind of pulls you in. So constantly being spoken over and constantly having the topic changed, and then I go back to my old nature, and I think that I did that to a certain extent. I can get worse. uh i hey, we all have our problems. um my personal problem is alcoholism. uh Brian, you constantly talk about how you struggle with your diet. JP is completely perfect. No, everybody has their issues, and I apologize for my behavior. I tried to re-listen to the stream, and I didn't even want to listen to it because it made me. Um, I just, yeah, you're right. I wasn't on point, and
It was tough at times, but you did really well. So don't be so hard on yourself. Let's move on.
that's nice of you, and I'll drop the mic.
Well, for me, I'm far more flexible, and there was a part of me that I did look into race realism, and there's always a part of me that thinks, well, Europe is not like Japan, and there are a lot of European countries that don't behave and don't tolerate what European countries tolerate, and the European diaspora tolerates things, and there's a part of me that kind of agrees or believes with that to an extent. Um, but I also realize that there are a lot of inventions and other things that come through having a multicultural and multiracial world, and I don't think we're going back. I don't think it's a realistic ideal. Maybe maybe there is a point of America where uh, you can have like kind of an ethnic sort of a homeland in America, but I just don't think that the powers that be will even allow that to happen. And you'll be a weak society because the powers that be are against it. That's
It,
just the way it goes. Uh,
it, I'm
Go ahead.
sorry. Well, I believe that balkanization is inevitable. I believe that it's human nature, and it came off like I was talking ill of black people, and that's not what I was trying to do. That's not the point that I was trying to make. That's not where I was trying to go. But I do believe balkanization is inevitable, not just in the United States, but across the world. And I don't want to suffocate this stream with racial issues. But the fact of the matter is, as far as I can see with my own eyes, providing no statistical evidence, that people are tribalistic and they will separate if it's based on race or if it's based on religion or if it's based on ideology. It doesn't matter. It's inevitable. I wish to embrace that, um, because that's true diversity. And I have love for everyone. I wish everybody the best. And I just think that when you have forced integration, that you get problems. At least that's the way that it seems to me. That was the point that I was trying to make, but then I started having to list off the serial number on my bidet, and the conversation just went completely sideways. So it turned into a troll fest, and I apologize. Anyway,
Well, part of the goal is to maintain some semblance of control over these sort of the flow of these conversations. With Howard, it's a lot of work, both for the guest and for the host. I'm sure you can imagine. So I think it's still, despite how Howard is and knowing how he is and how he will always be, I think we moved along okay. There were a couple times when I just didn't want to interfere. And, part of that is, for anybody who doesn't know Howard really well, it's just a matter of kind of getting around that, because it's sort of like when the curtain gets pulled in The Wizard of Oz. Once you kind of see Howard for what he is, he's just a termite.
there was the platform that I came here from. He reminded me very much of another man, and he was very trollish, and that ended badly. Uh, that's why I was telling you, Brian, don't get too wrapped up in this. Give yourself a little break every now and then. Get away from everything. Uh, there was one stream that you had. I don't know if it was 2, 3 streams ago, and I could see that it was wearing on you. You were being taxed, and I I felt it in your voice. The same. This social media stuff can get to us, and we can get a little too wrapped up in it. And I have had a couple people that I've known for many years kill themselves, and I never would have expected them to do so. And I'm not saying that you're going to kill yourself, but I'm saying it's good for us, all of us, uh, to get away from it for a little while, um, because I never would have expected this particular troll, and Howard reminded me so much of him, and he ended up shooting himself in the head. Uh, we need to we can discuss these issues, but I don't think that people like Howard or people like Scott. I feel like, how am I on a first name basis with you people? I don't know any of you, but
No,
we
you don't. But go on.
yeah, we need to realize that there's things that are out of our control. I have my opinion, JP, you have yours, Brian, you have yours, and there's nothing wrong with that, and we can have fun discussing these issues, but at the same time, uh, there's just a lot of pain and suffering, and I don't want to bring it into stoicism. I'll just end it there. Just make sure that you guys take care of yourselves, because you're both good people, and I appreciate it. I was talking about, well, never mind. We'll just stop there.
The hell are you on about? Brian, how do you respond?
Well, I do this show, like right now I've developed, like, as a reward for, because I am lazy. So I get a few things done, and I do this kind of as a reward for myself. And if I get listens, and if anybody gets anything out of it, it's kind of a bonus. I do talk about controversial topics, particularly race, because it is taboo, and it's the thing you cannot talk about. And I do believe that I speak truths that are harsh and that some people do not want to hear. And I believe not because they're not true, just because they go against speaking these truths kind of seems in this day and age to go against their ideology. And I'm against that kind of thing. They've turned their ideology into a faith, into a religion. And that's a point of self-righteousness that I see.
What ideology are you mentioning?
Well,
Like,
I would say leftist ideology and woke anti-racism is an ideology, and it's a religion, and it's a faith, and I think it's a very I think it's a very destructive and very cruel faith, and I see a lot of people within that faith seem to have a cluster B type of personality, and I'm not diagnosing them, but I am seeing pattern recognition within these groups. And I've seen, I've been around this kind of thing. I've observed it for over 20 years. Since 1989, I kind of observed it. And I saw what the people were saying, and this goofy kind of talk has become kind of mainstream now. And it's done by the establishment and the elites of the establishment.
if I may ask, who is the establishment?
Well, the establishment are those in power, those who control the banking industries, those who control corporate media and the film industry, and those who control like our modern culture. I would say the establishment culture, which is what I would say maybe you could call it Hollywood or the corporate media, the stuff that's put out there. Is in many ways dishonest and also very toxic. But it does build up a lot of people's ego. And these Black Lives Matter protesters I saw, what I observed is a lot of cluster B personalities, particularly people that seem to have I guess you would say histrionic personality disorders, and that was being enabled by the establishment. And the establishment being, the mainstream, what they would consider the mainstream media, and even the banking industry was fueling this, because these people are on corporate boards. And cancel culture is helped out by the financial industry and things of that nature. I don't know if I'm making any sense right now. So,
well, I'll just say that by applying a diagnosis like you have, it doesn't help your case. You have no evidence of the personality disorders, or if there's a cluster, or at what ratio, or all you know is what you've read. I'm assuming, or whatever it is. But I'm just saying, you want to stay away from words like histrionic personality disorder, which is a very rare diagnosis. It may be on the rise. I'm not sure. I haven't checked the latest stats, but it's definitely not. It's almost like identifying somebody or diagnosing somebody with schizophrenia at that point. Not quite, but it's pretty tough to do.
You cannot observe pattern recognition.
You can, but there must be other ways to describe it other than a diagnosis. Is what I'm saying.
It's not a diagnosis. I'm saying I'm seeing patterns that I've seen before in other people that have had those afflictions, and I'm seeing kind of a pattern of behavior. I'm not saying that these people are, but they act in many ways in those manners.
I'm just bringing up the point, that there are more effective ways, I think, to describe it.
How?
All I'm saying is you'd want to stay away from the diagnosis of histrionic personality disorder. It's what the exact words you use. So,
how about cluster B?
I don't think many people understand what that means. But how about that person has been erratic on many occasions, or that person has demonstrated, some sort of behavior that you didn't particularly care for. And so, yeah, I mean, it's judgmental at I don't know, at best. But yeah, anyways, just the technique. I'm just being a little technical in that I think it cheapens the overall value of therapeutic rules or whatever it is, or guidelines. It just cheapens it to throw around diagnoses like that. MC German is here. I can't imagine who that would be. Should we bring that person in?
It's Mick German, not MC German, JP.
Sounds like a DJ to me.
It's the rope man who, and I really don't know if you're just a troll or if you actually believe the things that you say.
I believe everything that comes out of my mouth, Brian. Every single word I say.
Well, then you seem to be supporting egotists and narcissists.
Yeah, me myself, I'm also a narcissist, so why wouldn't I support him?
Well, there you go. That might be the case. Guys got to stick together. Would you consider yourself a self-righteous person?
No. Here's the thing. I'm not righteous at all. I'm not even self-righteous. I don't really care about other people except myself. I'm selfish.
So why do you care whether me or Dawning is a racist?
I don't care to hear that talk. You talk about racist stuff. I really don't care to hear
Why
that.
do you not? Why does it bother you if you're selfish and self-absorbed?
It's not that it necessarily. I don't want to hear that. When I tune into your show, I expect to be entertained. Why aren't you entertaining me, Brian? No, seriously. I call into your show so I'm entertained. I listen to your show so I'm entertained. I expect to be entertained. And what do, Brian? You bore me to death. You put me to sleep with some of the hosts you have.
What if
Like
I
that
talked
Dawning guy?
What if I talked about smashing you in the face and kicking you in the testicles?
That's not something I haven't heard before, so you can say whatever you like, Brian.
Would that entertain you?
Actually, it kind of would.
Well, I'll smash your face and I'll stomp your testicles. How about
Oh, yeah, Daddy.
All right, we're going a little bit far here. And then I'd kick you in the face again. How about that?
Where are we going here?
This sounds more like me and Brian doing BDSM.
Well, it wouldn't be BD. It would be out of anger. It would not be. I would not get a sexual thrill out of it. It would be out of pure anger.
This is
One of us would, though. One of us would.
This is a non-gooning show, Ryan. I wanted to remind you.
Yeah. I'm sorry, folks. That wasn't very stoic of me, but Rope and I have a long history of anger.
You just have the anger. I don't.
I know you don't.
Oh, if I may just interject for one moment.
You absolutely may.
Is this the little weirdo that subscribed to my channel?
I don't know. I
know him. Subscribe to your channel. I've watched your videos, but you decided to be bit of a coward and take him down because you don't stand behind your words.
I stand behind my words, but I took them down for whatever reason I took them down for. It had nothing to do with you. But are you hedge and what do they call it? Hedge and real estate or something like that?
No,
If I
that's
am,
somebody else.
what's it to you? What's it to you?
Now, why did you subscribe to my channel if you have such an adamant, staunch position against me and what I have to say?
Because I also have some shit to say about you, sir. And I was gonna actually do a video with your content, but you decided to take it down and be a coward. Not
Uh,
stand
Shout out
behind
to-
your words.
Shout
Okay.
out
Such
to,
a coward.
hold on. Shout out to Bepi Pomtiba. Welcome to America.
Yes, I didn't take it down because of you. I took it down for other reasons. I thought that the content
I
was
never
good.
said it had anything to do with me. I just said it has
Excuse
to
me.
do with you being a coward,
Excuse me.
not what I plan to do with your content.
Well, you can call me a coward all you want, and you can call me a racist all you want. You're an anti-white. Had nothing to do with you, so don't
I'm
worry about
actually
it.
not anti-white. I'm anti-people in general.
Okay. So, anybody out there listening, you heard it. He
I'm
hates people.
anti-human. All humans should be extinct. Thank you very much.
There we go. But you want to be entertained by me. He just left. He came in and he left. He is a weirdo.
It was a hit and run job from the beginning. Next.
He's a hit and run bully.
Honestly, I mean, that's what you need to do is just. And I again, JP, I apologize for my behavior on the previous show. However,
How dare you?
yeah, I've sulked in my pillow all night long. But these people, eventually, if you prod them in the right way, will come out and admit, I'm a narcissist. I hate everyone. I hate myself. I don't care about anything. And everything is just it's a guise. It's a virtue signal. It's a way for them to make themselves feel superior over others. And uh, when I saw him, High Ridge Estates, I think that's his name.
Well, no. Before you continue, I want to mention that, and I think this is known. High Ridge Estates is Scott. He's the one who actually said to "fuck you, racist" or something of that nature before he left. He was the man who had a plastic bag. He had a plastic bag, hands tied. He was sitting next to a pool. And I think he had I wish he would come in again. He makes me laugh to a degree, but he's a self-righteous person that I describe him. I think. Continue on.
Yes. Come on in and maybe join this discussion with Donning Armor live from I don't know. You're in California, right?
Yeah, I'm in
Nice.
sunny Southern California.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, where were you at there in that point, or were you done?
I'm just saying, again, harkening back to this phrase, spiteful mutant. I feel sorry for them, and I want the best for them. But when I'm attacked, I will attack back. But you get these people, and there's no helping them. The damage has already been done. All I'm saying is that we should embrace our tribalistic nature, and these people, they don't have a tribe. They don't believe in anything. They're just angry, spiteful people, and they will lash out at anyone at any time, and they don't help. Well, I'll talk to you, JP, but I'll let you respond.
I sort of get where you're going. I'm not sure. They will, they'll bother you if you let them. I guess is probably the best. Brian and I have been hit by many kinds of trolls over the years, and each time there's sort of a variable that changes. So it's almost like no two trolls are exactly alike. So sort of like math, and I was never too good at math. So you give me a set of questions, I probably wouldn't answer them all correctly. Nowadays, I probably would because I'm really good with numbers. I'm just terrible at mathematical formula. And a lot of times, that's what the trolls are to me, is a little bit of a mathematical formula.
May I ask, you, JP, and you, Brian, do you believe? I think it's very apparent, but I want your responses. Do you believe that societal trust is degrading?
You said societal trust?
Yeah, yes. Do you believe that societal trust is degrading?
Yes.
So I happen to think that the world itself and the banks of the world all have suffered, and they've suffered a lack of trust. A lot of people have moved away from wanting to be part of a centralized banking system, and that's given rise to a whole economy booming. But I don't know. To me, it's a similar sort of line of thinking to what you're saying. So I don't know if that answers your question, but we do have another person. This is Dawning, hurt as a child? Question mark.
I think we're back to High Ridge. Say something.
You wanted to fucking talk to me, so here I am.
Well,
First off, JP, I want to talk to you later, homeboy.
Get in line, dude. Like the line's growing by the minute.
All right.
What are you so upset about? Jesus.
What are you so upset about?
You hurt my feelings, JP. Not these.
We're talking about Dawning here. We're talking about Dawning
Who?
armor.
Who?
Dawning.
Who's that?
Armor.
Why should I care what that is?
It's this guy sitting right here. He's standing right next to you.
He's literally the only one here without even like a picture avatar.
Yeah, at least you could do is bring a picture on with you, dude. So what's your comment to Scott? So let's go back a step, Dawning, and see, like, what was there, you saw something by High Ridge Estates, I think is where we got it. Was it on your YouTube page or somewhere else?
No, I was told by somebody in chat that he's trying to get me canceled, get my YouTube removed or something to that effect.
That is a fucking lie, sir. I subbed because I wanted to see your terrible fucking videos. No intention of doing anything like that. That was probably done by that slag Angela, the mistress of corruption. She likes to sow discord amongst us. Or maybe it was done by Brian himself. Look at you smirking right now. You love this shit, Brian.
Very interesting. Very interesting smirk.
If that's the case, then there's no problem, and there will be more videos that I create, and I understand that my videos were garbage, and I said from the very get-go I'm probably going to delete all these videos one day. And thank you for subbing to my channel. I appreciate it.
There you go. There you go. There's no such thing as bad publicity. That was what I was mentioning yesterday. I went to your page, and there was one day there was some content that I didn't get to, and then I went to go watch some of the content, and it was all gone.
Yes, I had a bad day, and I thought of deleting myself from everything. So unfortunately, I deleted all of my channels. I'm not very happy about it, but I will create more content, and I apologize to everyone that was so excited to see my garbage.
I just wanted to make fun of your garbage content.
And by the way, you already are making new content. You're here right now. This is content. Feel free to link and share as you will.
Absolutely.
No, I'm not in this to. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be known. I just thought that my videos were trash, and people go through good days and they go through bad days, like I said on the previous show, and that was all it was. It had nothing to do with any of you. I will create more videos. I think I'll start from the beginning, where I tell people that they should get a vaccination, just to piss people off, because I do believe in getting a vaccination. I do believe that the Wu flu is real, and I'll start from there, and I'll come back. You know, I'm not gone forever. I appreciate your subscription. I just thought that somebody told me that you were trying to delete me or get me canceled. So
Okay,
that
so
happened a day after I actually deleted my content. I didn't know. I just heard that, and I don't know who said it. I don't know who Angela is. So I apologize, guys. Don't
Well,
worry.
I'm just thinking of people that would tell you something that was just a blatant fucking lie. I never told anybody, let's get this guy canceled. No.
Well, as a white man that says the things that I do, that I have love for my people, my white brothers and sisters, saying stuff like that gets you into trouble.
The bigger issue is on your YouTube page where you have the 14 words. Don't you understand that that's an actual racist thing?
You more than likely will get taken down.
So I understand.
I do
One
not.
at a time.
I do not believe that the 14 words is in any way racist.
Who are they? Who are the 14 words coined?
If you change one word in the 14 words, if you change the word white to black or Asian or anything else, it's completely accepted. But
if a bullfrog had wings, it wouldn't bump its ass every time.
Wait a minute, dipshit. Scotty McShit, what do you say to that?
I say, what's the fucking relevancy of it? The phrase was created by Nathan Lane, infamous
again,
white
but
supremacist.
You haven't, Scott, you haven't heard similar words from other races? Do you believe? So if a white man says,
how is this making his case for him that it's not a blatant racist statement on his YouTube page?
I'm just asking a question. Hold on a second, Scott.
These are nonsensical.
Shut up for a minute. Let me finish.
Shut up.
All right.
Sorry. Go ahead.
You know that there are black channels that advocate for their race, for their kind, and have love for their kind. What is any different? Why do you have a problem when white people do?
Look, those are just as despicable as the white supremacist bullshit.
You know that the establishment today goes in one direction with regards to that.
Who's the establishment run by, Brian?
The establishment is run by the elite.
What type of hats do they wear, Brian?
Are you trying to get me to say that it's the Jews?
Don't fall for that.
That's exactly who it is, Brian. It is the Jews.
Don't fall for that. They're anti-whites, and leave it at that. It doesn't matter who or where they come from.
The establishment are hypocrites. They're out of touch. They send their children to private school. They preach diversity while sending their children to private schools that hardly have any diversity whatsoever. And they don't. Many times, the wealthy elites do not practice what they preach. And they are the worst type of human beings on this earth.
They have the right to do that. They have the money. If you had that much money, you would probably do the same thing, Brian.
Maybe, you know what? I probably would. I don't know if I'd want to protect myself, but I think there's a lot of fear, and then there's a lot of fanaticism and fear. The fanatics are in control, and they have everybody in fear. That's my opinion. Could be wrong.
I have no money, so that must make me the most honest person in the world. And you're all welcome to. It doesn't matter where it comes from. I'm telling you that human beings are tribalistic, and we should take care of each other. And the closer that we are related to one another, we should, whether it's blood relation, friendship, race, we should have love for one another. And this is how you succeed. That's how the quote unquote establishment succeeded because they have ethnocentrism, and white people aren't allowed to have it. So that was my point, and thank you for stepping to my channel again.
I'm just going to say, based on what you've said here on the show tonight, that you think everybody should care for each other. But what happens when someone comes and tugs on my shoulder and says, "Hey, who's letting this broke drunk into our group?" What am I going to tell them?
That didn't even make sense.
That's because you weren't fucking listening. Just shut up, Angela.
Thank God we got Angela here.
Screw you.
America.
Screw you, JP. I'm trying to
be nice, everybody.
Hold back.
You said it didn't make sense. It's because you weren't listening.
I was listening. And he just wants to protect his own kind, love his own kind. He doesn't want to be cruel to anyone else. What the hell is wrong with that?
Honestly, Angela said it better than I could have, and you hurt my feelings.
Don't ever let Angela speak for you again.
Let's go to
Tell me, Angela.
Wait, the gentleman. Let me see here. Walt, do you have anything to say on that? You haven't spoken.
What's up, Walt?
I gotta agree. We gotta love our own kind.
What's your own kind?
How about you, Junie?
Thank you.
All I gotta say is one should love oneself and screw all the other races.
Okay, shut that dog up. What about you, Sly? We haven't heard from Sly. Sly Baby.
We already heard from Sly Baby. Let's hear from High Ridge Estates up on top of the Kennedy thing.
Okay, High Ridge Estates.
Go ahead.
No, that's a picture of Jackie O's ass, man.
Here we go. Smack it as you go.
She was pretty hot for a first lady. Hotter than Michelle.
All right. What about what Angela said? Come on, give me.
What did she say? Blah blah. Love your own race, fine. Of course I do, but I don't want to use that as a dog whistle for hating other races. That's what it is. That's what I.
How do you know it's a dog whistle for hating? He says he loves his own kind and Farrakhan. The Hebrews listen to me.
Can you shut the fuck up? If it's not that big of a deal, then why are you always talking about
he's
it?
Triggered. Scott's
triggered. I just can't ever get a word out with Brian. No, look at Brian smirk like you're such a piece of shit, Brian. I'm want to think about it.
And he's pushing your buttons. Angela, stop pushing Scott's buttons.
You're easy to have your buttons pushed. I can push them right now. Look at my finger. Jesus Christ, you're a baby. You're a baby, Scott.
You're also a baby, Brian. You cry a lot.
Oh, give me a break. You're a baby yourself. No, I mean, Scott's probably the biggest baby in the room, but I mean, you can't help it.
Can we just put JP in a diaper and just cradle him in our arms?
God, goo, goo.
I want to cradle cute little baby JP.
God.
All right, guys, please.
Okay. So
wait a minute. How do we know? How do we know he's not wearing a diaper right now? That's all I got to say.
How do we know Brian's not wearing a diaper right now?
It sounds to me as if there's 3 people in the room that don't want to have a serious conversation, and the rest of us do.
Donning, every hour on the hour we do a diaper check on our show.
Well, I want to say that Scott's still a bitch man to a degree, and that's okay.
Brian, you're still a hypocritical diabetes fat fuck. We all.
God, you even sound like grow up from the first grade. Jesus.
All right, guys.
Angela, pull the wine bottle and the KKK hood out of your butt and realize you're talking about.
I got a serious one. What do you guys think about the recent school shootings? Thoughts?
School shootings should happen more. That's all.
There we go. What a wonderful thought here.
Too many white students dying. That's wrong.
Not enough white students dying.
Well, you know what? We've really gone into the dregs here. and part of it is probably my fault.
It's entirely your fault. You
It
want
is your board. Yes, it is your fault. I'm trying, but you usually overrule an idea of mine. So keep going.
Well, you know what, Joey? I have gone into the dregs before. And why did you?
What's up, Nick? How's it going, man? Hey.
Jesus Christ! That must.
If we want to talk about the school shootings, I will give my opinion on it. But and welcome to the show, Nick. I believe that's your name. I apologize if I've gotten it wrong.
Right. You got it right. Go ahead and talk about things.
Again, I simply think that it's a product of multiculturalism. I don't know the. I'd like to wait for the investigation to occur. I don't know if this was just a little malicious so-and-so that murdered 4 people, injured others. But I do know that him and his father and mother have been taken into custody. And I understand that everybody's saying that he's a terrible person. He happens to be white. And I know that just a couple weeks before, there was a black student that shot 3 people or perhaps more. I can't remember the details. And he was released on bail. I just wonder why that kind of stuff happens. Why does that occur? And the media was saying that the non-white student, the black student, was bullied. It wasn't his fault. He was bullied. And the white student is an evil, nasty, disgusting person. My assumption, and this is an assumption, is that these kids are just bullied. And if they have access to guns, then they go and they do stupid things as dumb little kids do. So that's my conclusion.
Any comments on that? Because I'm going to give my 2 cents in.
With most school shootings, it's usually a mental health problem, and because of that, they instead of deciding suicide, they decide to kill everyone in their school.
Well, I would talk about critical race theory, how it's been introduced over the last 3 decades. And you can see the trend going throughout the country in relation to school shootings. So maybe there's a correlation. I don't know. But I've been thinking about that the last 2-3 years.
Walter? Scott?
Marilyn Manson. I blame Marilyn.
Was a pig. I think anyone who does shoot anybody and murders anybody is scum, and they should be put the part of me does believe in the lethal injection or the electric chair for these individuals. You know, years ago, we had more access to firearms and less of these school shootings. And you look at other countries, they don't have rehabilitation. In China, if you screw up, they blow you away. In Saudi Arabia, they chop off your head. As a matter of fact, when my father was in the Air Force, he trained with the Royal Air Force. There we go. Who's doing that? Come on now.
Your trusty sidekick, JP.
There we go. Thank you, JP. The Royal Saudi Air Force, and one of the individuals scored really low on a test, and they beheaded him. There we go. Oh, Jesus. We've gone to the dregs. Joey can't help himself. We used to have a thing called inflammatory talk, and we would, and I'm trying to get away from that. I used to really rage. I had no white guilt.
Trying to get away with it. Sorry.
I would try to, I've tried to get away from that. I used to really rage on the air. I had a no white guilt show, and I had an inflammatory talk show, and I had a.
It was great. It was great and awesome. Bring it back.
Well, somebody's already got no white guilt, but I did have that, and then I also had inflammatory talk, and then I had the hate show because all of my shows got taken off of Blog Talk. It was from when it wasn't for hate, by the way. But
it was an anti-white person. And
yeah, it might have been. But I think our culture has become far more degenerate all the way around, including Marilyn Manson, who is a complete degenerate and should be removed from society or shouldn't be that popular in society. And our culture has become far more degenerate and vile. And we have no standards as far as behavior is concerned. And people do really vile things. They should be removed from society. We used to do that back in the day.
I am, if I may, a firm believer in, the death penalty. In fact, I can't say that on the air, but there should be severe repercussions for these people. And the fact of the matter is that it's geared towards and against white individuals. It's the way that it is. That's the world that we live in. That's why I brought up the case that there was a school shooting not too long ago. The media doesn't want to cover it because it was a black kid. And now there's a white kid that's committed a school shooting. He should be punished, severely punished. But one is a victim and the other is a degenerate. Guess what their races are?
And the truth is, Dawning, I think they're both degenerates. It seems like if you shoot innocent people, you should face the same fate yourself.
Absolutely.
Pump them full of the juice. And back in the day, they used to, put them in the old electric chair.
Well, it's more expensive to kill someone, the death penalty. It's really cheaper just to give them a life without parole. So I'm more of a proponent for that. I do believe in the death penalty. It's just too expensive to do so.
It's even cheaper to, I can't say the things that I want to say because I don't want to put the channel in jeopardy, but there's cheaper ways.
Well, again, you can do away with some of the stuff, and I'm hearing a lot of background, but you can. But to me, the expense is, I think it's justice when you murder someone.
JP,
Yes.
JP,
What?
mute yourself, please.
No, mute yourself. Stop it. Go away.
No,
All right.
it's your microphone, JP.
We are at an hour and 13 minutes. What else, Brian? Where are you? I'm not trying to end it. I'm just trying to figure out where you're going.
I think the show has gone in a lot of different directions, and I think it's time that we, call the show a day. And unfortunately, hopefully, people aren't too bored.
Why don't we go around and see if anyone has any last words? And we'll start with Nick. Nick, do you got anything to say? Nick, it's now or never. What do you got? All right, dude. All right. Nick has CP, and he's the best dude ever. All right, Nick, thank you. Angela, go. Let me just get a bag while you talk.
I got a bone to pick with you, JP. I brought people last night, and then you made Brian ill with a migraine. That was just wrong, completely wrong. I worked hard to bring some people to the show, and look what you did. You made him ill. So stop making him ill and grow up.
I will surely grow up. That's for you. All right. Yeah. I'm sorry. Who's next here? We got Beavis. Is it Beavis or Butthead?
God Bless America, brothers.
Sly and the Family Stone. What do you have to say?
JP is such a handsome man. He's a real cutie, isn't he?
Go away. You're a disgusting man.
Love you too, JP.
God Bless America, brothers.
Highbrow Ridge. What do you got to say?
Good night, everyone.
I'll make a man out of you yet. Stop being a bitch man.
Who did I miss? Dawning?
Brian can go fuck himself with his reactionary, small-minded, black and white, possibly mentally ill bullshit. Everyone else
I
have
agree.
a wonderful evening.
I agree with Scott. Dawning, anything there?
No matter who you are, where you come from, any ethnicity, love yourself, and make sure to subscribe to my channel and send me money, lots of money.
No problem at all. We're going to send you a check. All right, Brian, do you have anything else? I'm good. What do you got?
Well, hopefully people had some fun and maybe had a little bit of laugh. I laughed a little bit. This a little bit reminds me of the shows we used to do before, and that we would have some guffawing. Although we can't go as far as we used to go. I remember when we had RockNet.
I think we could go farther.
Yeah, I don't want to. YouTube has conditions.
Let's find Rockneck. That would be great.
Oh, going Gooby.
Angela sounds stoned. Shut up. All right, what else, Brian?
Yeah, so hopefully everyone can love themselves, and if they want to give Dawning Armor, subscribe to his channel, and even give him a check, that would be great if they want to give him money. I also like money too. And I just want to say that hopefully people can come together and start thinking right and logically, unlike Scott, who's a bit of a bitch man. I'm just
Wanting money
More or
is something
less
that
you,
would say.
Brian. You're the real bitch man here.
Wow, he raised a finger at me when I said Angela sounded stoned, and then there he goes saying ridiculous things. Brian.
Okay, you be nice to Brian. Back off, everybody. Back off.
You are a duplicitous man, and you are wearing a mask. Take it off. All right, let's finish this. Unless you had anything else, anybody. Go to the website and donate a lot of Bitcoin.
Yeah. By the way, I want to wish everyone, like sooner or later, this Christmas is going to be coming up. Goodwill to all men and ladies. And
there's a picture of Dawning after the surgery.
Yeah.
I figured out how to make a picture. Thank you.
You're welcome. Make that picture. And Scott.
Pretty sure that's what they uncovered in one of the tombs in Egypt at the Pyramid of Giza.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to verbally beat Stoicism into Scott. He will stop being so.
You're the least stoic person here, so I don't think you're going to beat anybody at anything, sir. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I agree once again.
And Junie, I would that cigarette, I would just rip that right out of you, and
I would smoke on your little cigarette, Brian.
I can't believe I just heard that. You please fucking end this thing.
Most vile human.
That is enough.
Good Lord, you are horrible. And
thank you for the show. I appreciate it, and well wishes to Angela. Woodstock. We're not on a first name basis, not yet, but we will be.
Well, thank you, Saint.
Hey
Likewise.
guys, can I get a God Bless America?
God bless America.
God bless America, brothers.
God bless Canada.
There we go. He's Canadian, but he has an American flag near his thing, and he's smoking a cigarette.
I don't like Canadians.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And again, I want to mention that Scott, may Stoicism find you, no matter how we're.
Are you in love with me or something? This is getting fucking weird now. Can
Yeah,
you end the show?
Let's end it.
All right. So the anger is out with Scott. We've established that. A very angry person. So it's kind of sad, but I do wish you all well. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. And visit our website at transparencyandmerit.com. I wish everyone well.